Right, welcome back to the program. Joining me right now is Honorable Kashifu Abdullahi, who is the Director General, National Information Technology Development Agency. It's a mouthful, but Nitda, it's just the acronym, the DG of Nitda. Good morning, DG, and thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thank you, Nancy, and thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Let's get started. And I think I will start on the premise of Nitda establishment. And why am I saying so? You're over 2 decades old, I think precisely 2001,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken. And I want us to juxtapose from when Nitda was created in 2001. That was perhaps during Obasanjo's days of internet and all of that, what you were created for at that time. How do you think that your agency has fared since your establishment in the area of increased development for IT? Because I know that a lot of stuff has also happened in the past 22 years.
You know, 2000, the year 2000, there was a big hype about this millennial bug, about computer, how IT is transforming governance, and many more. Then Nigeria formulated the national IT policy. And at the core of that policy was to get Nigerians use computers for their day-to-day activities. At that time, about only 500,000 Nigerians had access to computer. And also, ICT was contributing less than 0.5% to our GDP. But today, more than 130 million Nigerians have access to internet and computer because our mobile phones are computers as well. And also, ICT is contributing more than 16% to our GDP. So you can see how it moved from less than 500,000 to more than 130 and less than 0.5% contribution to GDP to more than 16% contribution to GDP. And today, globally, ICT or digital economy is the fastest growing economy. And according to Statista, digitally transformed enterprises contributed more than 13 trillion US dollars to the global GDP in 2018. And that jumped to over 43 trillion US dollars to the global GDP last year. And it is projected to contribute 53.3 trillion US dollars to the global GDP this year. That means almost more than 50% of the global GDP will be contributed by digitally transformed enterprises.
Okay, let me come in there a bit, and it's nice that you brought me into that aspect of ICT contribution. When I looked at the MBS data for second quarter, in fact, ICT is the second largest contributor to GDP after agriculture. And we had 19.5%. Now, where I'm going is the deconstruction of that contribution. If you take a look at it, you see telecom services being more in that deconstruction. You have sectors, okay, telecoms, information, communication and information. You also have, I think, publishing. That's also where broadcasting, that sector is also where broadcasting comes on there, music, film production, and all of that. How do you play within that space? Because it's only telecom services that are really driving that ICT contribution. DJ, I hope you understand.
Yeah, I understand.
I hope you understand what I'm saying, the likes of the big communication, telecom companies. So talk to me a bit more about that construction.
Yeah, so I think it's the right time to even rebase how we calculate that ICT contribution
Thank you for
to
saying
GDP.
that. Yes.
Because if you look at ICT is pervasive, it cuts across every sector. And the mandate of our ministry today is to accelerate Nigerian economic diversification by enhancing productivity in critical sectors through technological innovation. And if you look at the core of the renewed hub agenda of President Tinubu's administration is inclusive economic growth, productivity, and prosperity for all. That means how can we apply ICT in agriculture to improve productivity? ICT in financial sector to improve productivity. Because today, if you take digital from finance, banking sector will collapse. But we don't calculate that as part of IT contribution. But that has improved productivity in financial sector.
Especially the banking sector.
So you can see what I mean. So, and Statista looked at all this, the banking sector, how ICT transformed them, improved productivity and contribution to GDP. So in Nigeria also it's good we look at that so that we will look at the real contribution of digitally transformed enterprises.
I like that you also looked at that, and because that has also been on my mind for a long time in terms of the deconstruction of that space, and that job should be for the statistician general. So, Mr. Adeyemi Adeniro, I know you could be watching. so that's a job. That's a job for you in terms of deconstructing that space. Now, if we take a look at the last 20 years, because I'm taking you down a pathway, the last 20 years, would you say that we've really harnessed IT or ICT for economic prosperity, economic progress and development? How far have we gone vis-a-vis the capacity?
Yeah, if you look at it from 2020 to date, we have created so many industries enabled by ICT. Starting from even the telecommunication sector, the boom started really after 2020, after 2000, because at that time mostly was landlines, and all these telcos, MTN came into play, I think, from 2003. Yeah, so it started from that time, and they created a huge market. And today, they are contributing more than any sector to our economy and enabling others. It is after that, the telecommunication revolution that led to the financial sector revolution and digitalization. And if you look at that, also started by just a simple government policy saying that banks should digitize. The central bank, CBN, issued an IT standard policy that all banks should computerize their processes. That led to growth in the banking sector and also led to new industries coming up, like the fintech. When banks were struggling to refresh their tech investment and put an efficient system in place, gaps were identified. And fintech, the financial technology industry, identified those gaps and built solution on top of that. And that created an industry on itself. And Nigeria also is having one of the vibrant fintech industry in Africa. And we're leading in terms of even investment and solutions within Africa and even beyond Africa. Today, if we are talking about fintech globally, we recognize Nigeria as one of the strong country that has that play in the fintech sector. So that also enabled other industries like e-commerce. Without the ICT, without the telcos infrastructure, e-commerce will not work. So you can see all this revolution. Even you today, you are using a lot of IT gadget for your own work to enhance it and make it better. So you can see the ICT has permeated around across all sectors and really improved productivity. And that has resulted to economic growth.
Okay. Let's take a look at this, because from the sense I'm getting from also what you're saying is that we've seen a lot of leapfrogging, jump-starting development in the private sector. But the question is, how has the government been able to also use ICT not just as a tool, but for governance transformation, because that is actually where we're lagging behind in Nigeria, because you see that private sector is doing a lot with ICT, more than just a tool. But in the government, talk to me about governance transformation.
So, like our minister, the Honorable Minister of Communications, Innovation, and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, launched a strategic plan for our ministry, which has 5 strategic pillars. Firstly is knowledge. Secondly is policy. So under policy, we have national policy for digital public infrastructure. What we mean by that, we are going to look at how can we uh, build standard and digital public infrastructure in Nigeria by providing the Nigerian DPI stack, which will be available for innovators and startups to create digital offerings on top. You know, digital transformation is a journey, and it starts by putting the ideas together, putting the processes, training the people and technology. That's the first stage. The next stage is having organizations investing in silos. So that's where we are today in Nigeria. Almost all governments, MDAs, are investing in silos. If you look at the digital transformation in general today, CAC, you can register company online. You don't need to be there, and you can get it within 24 hours to 48 hours. We have visa on arrival. You can register online. When you come to Nigeria, you get your visa on arrival. And some people testified to me that our visa on arrival process is one of the best globally. Then we also have the passport itself, even though there are some issues here and there. But even having it to start the process online, make payment online before you go there for capturing is something, a milestone has been achieved. And also driver's license also, you can do it online. NIMSI also is expanding the need, capturing, and so on. So all this, we are doing it in silos. But the digital public infrastructure, what it will help us to achieve is to consolidate all this so that there
That's what I
would
was
be...
also coming to in terms of consolidation
Yes.
of all of this. I don't know if there are talks around, is it a possible decentralization or something?
Yeah, it's not what we call it. You need to have a backbone, the
Backbone, yes.
foundation, the stack. Then you build it, you modularize the services.
Okay.
So you can easily move and you become agile. You know, sometimes consolidation also, you need to look at even the redundancy to make sure there is business continuity in case of any incident. So, but the stack also will have that built as part of it. And also it will allow different startups to build different government services on top of it. And that can be cascaded down to subnationals, like states and local government also can easily be part of it. Because it needs huge investment. Some subnational might not have that kind of resources to do that.
Let's speak about the artificial intelligence grant that was announced just a few days ago. I know that a lot of young people, is it only for young people too?
No, it is for every Nigerian.
It's for every Nigerian.
Yeah.
I don't know, perhaps because technology space is, you know, is a bit attractive to younger people. So speak to me about the artificial intelligence grant. I'm aware, I think 5 million naira each.
Yeah.
45, is it 45
Yeah,
startups?
we are
So what is the idea behind that? How many have applied so far? We can actually also put the link on air because I got the link in terms of application. Can I also apply?
Yeah, you can if you have.
If I qualify.
Yes,
Okay.
you'll get it.
Okay, so we can put the link online. So speak to me about the grant and what modalities are expected. vis-a-vis also that I know that you have a national artificial intelligence policy. I know that you also have a national center of artificial intelligence and robotics. So how does all of this play out?
Okay. Under the strategic plan launched by our minister, Dr. Bosun Tijani, the first pillar is knowledge. Because knowledge is the foundation upon which countries build a robust and sustainable economy. And under that knowledge, we have three initiatives. Firstly is the tech talent. I will come to it maybe
To that,
later.
yeah.
Then secondly is research, because research is the bedrock upon which we build the knowledge itself. But research, we are focusing on 6 emerging technologies. Artificial intelligence is one of them. But why artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is a general purpose technology that we believe if humanity get it right, it could be the last invention we need to do. Because artificial intelligence, you can have it as an agent, artificial intelligent agent, meant to have artificial intelligence that can do work for us. For example, you can have a robot that can manage a manufacturing line. That means we don't need to have humans working there.
You know, when you talked about robots, something came to my mind. The first Africa's humanoid robot that was launched, Omife.
Omife.
Omife,
Yeah.
that was launched some time ago, isn't it?
Yeah, last year,
Last year.
December.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
And
things like that
this
is what
year
we are
we
talking.
launched Omefe for digital literacy.
Oh, okay.
The bot, the app you can use to enhance and deepen the digital literacy in Nigeria. So the robot we are talking about, humanoid is one of them. You can have a robot that can be working in a farm. So that means we don't need to go to farm to work. We can, anything you can think of, it can enhance our farm produce. Any work human can do, we can get these robots to do it for us, including even like surgery and many more. And we can use it also as a tool to augment our work. So we are pursuing all these different tracks of artificial intelligence. And globally, there is this race for artificial intelligence. Every country trying to be part of it and contribute to it. Because any country that lead in artificial intelligence will become the superpower and it will rule the world. So Nigeria, we don't want to be left behind. We want to be part of building the artificial intelligence. And we have a competitive edge to lead because we have young population. We are naturally talented in Nigeria and we have a very high IQ. So when you combine this with the technology, Nigeria can position itself to even be talent net exporter in artificial intelligence. After meeting our local demand, we can export that talent. So we started with the center. We built the center. We established it in 2020, November 2020 to be precise. And we have started training at the center. Every month we train 120 Nigerians at that center.
From that 2020?
Yeah, from that 2020 at a different proficiency level. We train basic, intermediary, and advanced. But this training started last year, not from 2020, but we had different trainings because we are doing the anniversary of this training tomorrow.
Oh,
yeah. So far, we have trained more than 1,200 Nigerians. And some of them have started coming up with innovative solutions in the healthcare, in the agri and education. And some of them are being part of the trainers because we are building community. AI developer community. And also, some of them have gotten jobs.
I was coming to that because it's one thing to train, it's another thing for them to be integrated into the society, to get jobs
Yeah.
that will also lead to economic growth. So it's not just about training, it's about are they getting connected to jobs?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so on the AI, that's where we are, and the policy also, we started the work about a year ago, and the Honorable Minister is expanding it, and we want to use input from these researchers to enrich that policy we are working on,
Okay.
so that we will, sometimes the challenge we are having, the policy makers develop the policy in isolation without taking into consideration the impact and change makers. But when you bring the impact and change makers to be part of the policy making, you will leverage on the knowledge to build a policy for execution, not just policy for the sake of having policy.
Okay, so precisely for this AI research grant, 5 million naira each,
Yes.
45 people, 45
Yes.
startups, and
Yeah.
how many have applied so far?
We've received more than 700 applications.
More than 700.
Yes,
Oh.
so far.
Okay. So when will the process be, when will you vet the process and announce perhaps the beneficiaries?
We are hoping before end of November because we are getting expression of interest from some partners, even development partners. They want to be part of it. So
Okay. In
the
terms
process,
of what? Is it technically or money-wise?
yeah, both.
Both, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so but where are you going to get the money for this 5 million naira grant each?
Nitda is providing that,
You're
and
providing-
we have other partners coming to bring more funding, and so that we can expand the scope as well.
Okay, so Nitda is providing with the math about 225 million naira for this
Yes.
45
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move over to the 3MTT, which is the 3 million tech talent. Speak to me about that and what the idea of the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy is a mouthful.
Innovation and digital economy. Yeah.
You know, what Nitda's role will also be there.
Yeah. The ministry conceptualized the idea, and Nitda as an agency under the ministry is an implementing partner of the idea.
Okay.
So the 3 million tech talent is about training Nigerians and connecting them with jobs, because talent is a big market on itself. According to Conferry, by 2030, there is going to be 85 million talent deficit globally, which will result to 8.5 trillion US dollars unrealized annual value. So most of these developed countries, they have challenge of aging, while we in Nigeria and Africa in general, we have youthful population. In Nigeria, 60% of our population is under 25. So we want to leverage this, our population demographic advantage, to position ourselves as the global talent net exporter. So when we train these people, before the training, we have done IT talent gap assessment to know the skills in demand locally and internationally. So we will train them based on those skills in demand,
Okay.
and connect them with jobs. And our target is to have 1.5 million working in Nigeria, providing the talent to the global, local market.
So they can work in Nigeria. They can be working in Nigeria for foreign firms, and they're still in Nigeria.
Yes.
And be earning foreign exchange.
Yes, that's 1.5
Okay.
for the local market, 1.5 working in Nigeria for international organizations remotely and earn forex. Like this also, there is a research by PwC called Nigerian Brain Export,
Yeah, I
the
saw that.
optimal path to developing Nigerian economy. According to that report, if Nigeria can train this 1.5 million and put them on the global value chain, Nigeria can make about 50 billion US dollars annually. And this can help in addressing our forex challenge.
Okay, let's go to Digital Nigeria. You're going to be having a conference that will start next Tuesday. And the theme is harnessing digital technologies for job creation, inclusive economic growth, and sustainability. Two questions quickly. What will make this conference different from other conferences you've had? Because I know there was a Digital Nigeria conference in 2022. Then the other question is, with all of these conferences, because we're so good in arranging, in putting together conferences, how do you evaluate the impact of what you do, the measurement? They say you can't measure what you can't manage. Or you can't manage what you can't measure.
What you can't measure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So impact and why this Digital Nigeria conference on Tuesday is very critical, and why it is actually different. Why should I be there, for example, that will make it different from what you've told me before?
Okay. Firstly, the 24th October has been designated as a Digital Nigeria Day.
Yeah.
So the week will be celebrated for our digital transformation. And this year's conference is going to be a platform for exploring the vast potential of digital technologies for accelerating Nigerian economic diversification. Our mandate given to us by Mr. President is to accelerate economic diversification by enhancing productivity in critical sectors through technological innovation. So that's why the theme for this year is harnessing these digital technologies for job creation and inclusive economic growth and sustainability. Because we have a mandate as a ministry, and the government, the president has made big promises of making Nigerian or improving Nigerian economy and making it inclusive, with inclusive growth, as well as improved productivity and prosperity for all. So we want to use this as a platform to bring all key stakeholders to network, to connect, and engage about how we can propel Nigeria to achieve these goals. Last year, we had this kind of conference. We had huge attendance, more than 7,000 participants, and a lot of conversation around emerging technologies like blockchain and artificial intelligence as well. That led to the formulation of the national blockchain policy and training 32,000 Nigerians on blockchain. So this year also we'll have that conversation. You will get insightful, you will be part of insightful keynotes from renowned, thoughtful leaders and technical experts that will help us to give us that insight. And we believe that can give you an opportunity to network, and networking can lead to innovation and inspiration. Innovation and inspiration can lead to growth in the tech ecosystem. And also, if you are a startup or innovators, you have an opportunity to showcase your products and brands to these industry leaders, top government officials, and investors as well. We have a huge delegation coming from Europe, from the US, and
India?
Asia. Okay. We have from India as well.
Yes. It's a market in that space.
Yeah.
It's actually a global leader now.
Yes, we have delegations, investors coming from all over the world. So that will give us visibility globally, and it will help in image making globally, so that Nigeria can be at the forefront of that digital landscape.
Okay, in the midst of all what we're saying and what is coming to my mind, we are talking about AI. You've spoken about the AI research grant, and I hope my team, let's put that link on because this is for
Yeah.
Nigerians' advantage. Let's quickly take that link again so people that are interested can go apply. We're talking about AI, we're talking about blockchain. How do you ensure safer utilization of AI? For example, because AI is a good thing, but it's also disrupting a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. Last week, I was listening to global leaders in Morocco, Marrakesh for the World Bank and IMF meetings, and issues about also AI cropped up. So, what do we do to ensure accordance with policies and regulations?
So that's why we want to be part of building the technology, not taking backseat to use the technology. Because AI will be used in decision makings in like already some countries are using it for profiling people for credit worthiness, criminal profiling, and many more. And if you don't have data or if you are digitally invisible, AI will forget you when it comes to decision making. So we want Nigerian value and culture to be there. We want to build our model and we want to build it with safety breaks and security in mind. You know, before why we are having challenge with technology, mostly we build it for profit. But AI today is beyond just having software engineers to build it. You need to have different people because it's beyond software engineering. This is a social engineering. You are building a system that will make decisions that will decide who get what under what conditions. So you need to have people that understand the civic law as well as the common context of society to make that decisions. So that's why we are bringing these researchers to be part of building the AI system for Nigeria. And we will use them also in building the digital public infrastructure as well. Because when you build the digital public infrastructure, you need an intelligence system that will help you to make an informed decision, and it will help government also in terms of making policies and decisions as well.
Okay, quickly, DG, I'm looking at our time. We just have a few minutes to go, and let me see if I can chip in three questions. I've always wanted to ask you this. The first one is, how do we ensure a level playing field where local startups in Nigeria are not acquired by the big guys, but are also allowed to grow? That's one. Then number two, the second question is accountability in the digital space in terms of how your agency would help avoid commodification and collection of personal data by big companies for their own selfish reasons. What they call, you know what I'm talking about, surveillance, what do they call it? Surveillance capitalism.
Capitalism.
That's two. The third one is how do we collateralize knowledge? Because we're talking about digital economies all in here. It's not I want to buy it's not trade you physical stuff like this. It's all in here. So how do we collateralize knowledge to be able to get more funding? Because you see young people or even people who say, I have this idea. In other SENA climes, those ideas turn to money. They are monetized. So very quickly, DG.
Okay, firstly, on the knowledge, that's why we have knowledge as our first pillar in the strategy, because knowledge is the backbone for everything we are going to do. And in terms of getting young people to use it well, that's why we are having this Digital Nigeria conference. It is an opportunity for them to come, network, share your ideas. If you have idea, don't keep it to yourself because innovation doesn't happen in isolation.
Okay.
And also idea or innovation is a process of taking that your idea from inception to impact because there is difference between invention and innovation.
Innovation, yes.
Invention is a cost center. You spend money, you invent something. But if you won't be able to commercialize it by using it to solve real life problem, that you cannot call it innovation. So we need these young people with the ideas to come network. You can get a co-founder to start your business, share idea, and build a solution or a company from it. That's how you can turn that your knowledge into businesses or products and services.
Okay.
So in terms of the
Level,
security of
okay, no, surveillance capitalism.
yeah,
Yeah.
we have, under our policy, we have the national data strategy. Because it's a two-way thing. You know, technology is a double-edged sword. You can use it as a weapon or as a tool. It depends on how you use it. So we want to have national data strategy policy, or we already have, we want to implement. We want to make data open for people to take and innovate for good, not for profit or capitalism, surveillance capitalism alone. Because without making that data available, we cannot innovate and we cannot build digital services on the digital economy. However, we need to have a strong law in place, which we already have the National Data Protection Law,
Yeah.
which protect our private data, personal data, because the personal data is the most important. This surveillance capitalism is about taking data. It started by collecting data to enhance products and services, but it went beyond that because they use it to manipulate. They use it to come up with a personalized product for you.
Services and products.
Services and products. So we need to look and balance that. If you say you lock it down, you stifle innovation. If you leave it open, also, it will
lot
be
of
a
things
source
come
of
in.
abuse. So that law will help in achieving that.
Okay.
But the most important is to make it available for innovation and also for government to make and informed decisions on anything is going to
The
do.
question around level playing field, just a few seconds.
Okay, that one we have the Nigerian Startup Act
Act.
also, which we are going to implement. That has provided that field. And also in all our initiatives, we make sure we implement them across 36 states. Like the 3 million tech talent training, we are going to do it across 36 states. We are creating an ecosystem of the partners in terms of development partners. State governments can join, local government can be partners, community and so on can also be partners. Then we have the training providers and we have the placement organizations. Organizations that will place participants on jobs locally or internationally.
Okay, let's summarize what we have said now. In terms of Digital Nigeria Conference, where is it going to hold?
It's going to hold here in Abuja from 24th of October to 26th of October.
The AI research grant, it has started the application. When is it ending?
I think it's on the 16th November, but the detail is on the website.
It's on the website.
Yeah.
Is it 16th or 18th? Okay, but just check it out. The link is already on television. For the Digital Nigeria Conference, who can attend? Can people just come in or they need to register?
You need to register because of crowd control, security, and other things. The website is available, digitalnigeria.gov.ng. You can go and register. All what you need to do after registration, you come and collect your registration pack, which include your access card.
Okay. DJ, any other thing you want to say? Or we've exhausted?
Well, I think it's for all Nigerians to be part of this because we believe digital economy is the fastest growing economy and the one that will help us to create prosperity for all Nigerians. So we want you all to be part of this journey. It's going to be promising, and we believe we can make Nigeria great by using technology, using our human capital as our greatest resources.
Thank you very much, DG,
Yeah,
for coming.
thank you for having me.
I've been speaking with the Director General of the National Information Technology Development Agency, that's Nitda, Kashifu Abdullahi, and we've been chatting at least in the last few minutes around the 3MTT, their AI research grant, and the Digital Nigeria Conference, and some other industry issues. Thank you all for being a part of the show today. Please join me again tomorrow on this channel. I am Nancy Naji. Be the best you can be, and be the change that you want to see. Bye now.